This is Matt for Behind the Gloves in association with Jam Boxing. I'm delighted to be joined by Sean O'Hagan, trainer and dad to Josh, the Leeds Warrior Warrington. We're here at Fight Week. We met the other day in the gym already, but how does it feel this time around? Does it feel a little bit different in comparison to the last time?
It feels proper.
Yeah.
It feels proper this time. I don't think it did, hats off to promoters for keeping boxing going and active and everything else and entertaining everyone during lockdown, because there wasn't a lot else to do. But I think it's had a big impact on a lot of people. But we're through it now, and it just feels proper again and right again, you know. And we're all refreshed, rested up and healed, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, he looked at it the other day in the gym. I have to say, he looks very hungry. Have you noticed a change in him this time round? Has that hunger, that motivation seemed to be more apparent than it was in the lead up to the first fight? Yes,
and I think another bonus has been we've got Maxi Hughes on this bill as well, and they've both been bouncing off each other, training together, pushing each other. I think they've both brought the best out in each other, really. So yeah, you have noticed a massive difference.
Now, we won't dwell on the first fight too long, but we're going to just sort of touch on it briefly because I think it's relevant, obviously, because we're at Fight Week. When the stoppage happened at that point, did you sort of, as a trainer, and obviously your family anyway, did you leave the ring and the arena that night feeling upset with maybe some criticism? We had a lot of, experts and people throwing their opinion in and questioning yourself when really you're his trainer, you know him better than anyone, and you're a family member, so you're really the best person for the job. Did that sort of irk you or piss you off at all?
Not really, because first of all, the criticism that I received from the so-called experts who were questioning about should I kept him on his stool, should I have stopped it, should referee have stopped it. They don't know fighter, I do. But listen, I won't name names because I'm not like that. I don't get into he said, she said and bitching, thinking I know best, because we're all learning, don't care who we are. But I could go through them each and every one of them now, and they'd have their head in their hands, mate, because some of the stuff that they've done, like I say, I don't even want to get into that, but now, criticism don't bother me. We're there to be shot at, aren't we? Let's remember, whether it's boxing, football, rugby, every time Leeds step on the football field, if it's a 36,000 crowd, there's 36 managers all know better than the manager. If it's boxing, there'll be 20,000 there on Saturday, and I'm sure 20,000 of them will all be a professional trainer. They'll all know better than me, unless I get it right, of course.
Yeah.
But if I get it right, they'll be blowing smoke up every orifice that there is in your body. But you get it wrong, you're a wanker.
You'll be getting nominated for Trainer of the Year, I'm sure, if he manages to pull this off in spectacular fashion. The nature of the defeat last time, obviously everyone was like completely shocked. And when Mauricio came in, everyone had this sort of thing of, well, he's coming in to sort of, fill the gap before he goes on to maybe a bigger fight. Josh has talked about fighting the likes of Gary Russell Jr., Navarrete, and making that sort of US debut what he wants to do. This time round, obviously, have you watched the fight over and over to see, things that happen, things that he did, things to be mindful of, and is there going to be a completely different approach this time round?
Yeah, I didn't watch it over and over and over again because I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I watched it twice. I didn't know what it was. He didn't win it. It was more we lost it.
Yeah.
And that's an honest opinion. I'm not taking nothing away from him, because remember, unlike Jeff Powell from Daily Mail, the so-called expert, who gets everything wrong, and he's a bit of a wanker, to be honest, is Jeff. And he can say what he wants, court action, whatever. He's only got a job because his mate owns paper. Criticises everybody. But listen, the thing is this. He described him as a wee slip of a lad that were brought from Mexico to get beat up. Well, let me tell you, that slip of a lad weren't selected to get beat up. He came in at short notice, right? We could have said yes or no. We looked at his record, and in 20 odd fights, 16 knockouts. Anybody with any common sense, or anybody who knows the slightest little bit about boxing, will tell you that's not a selected opponent being brought over to get beat up. It was a very, very real fight, and it was designed it was there. to be a real fight, not a fight where we could go out, beat him up and look good. We don't do that. We've always fought the next name below us. We've always done that. We've never ever selected an opponent to beat up and make us look good. We've fought for everything and we've won the majority of them. Obviously last time it didn't go to plan, but no, he was a very, very real live opponent. So.
Speaking with Josh, we spoke about how he felt going into the Selby fight, how he felt going into the Frampton fight. A lot of people, again, these experts, had Josh down as the underdog in them fights. Even the Galahad one, they had it, closer than they did the Lara fight. Do you think with 20,000 fans, sort of baying him on and sort of geeing him up, he'll be able to go through the gears a bit more and feed off that crowd energy? Because although people say the fans can't fight for you, there's certain fighters, your Ricky Hattons, like your Josh Warringtons from Leeds, they do get that buzz off a crowd, and you can almost see them when it gets tough, they can go off that and get that extra bit of energy.
Yeah, I think, having all them fans behind you, it's got to give you a little bit of a kick. It's got to give you a little boost of adrenaline. And I think that's healthy for the fight, because it reminds him why he's there. I think when it's as relaxed as it was overlooked as well, I'll be honest with you. Everyone was talking about Kanzo and Gary Russell and everyone else. We'd also had 3 fight dates that, you could be going this month, you could be going that month, could be going other month. It all depends on COVID. There was COVID as well that he'd had. Nobody knows how it affects you. So there were a multitude of things really, all small things, but all put together gives you the bigger picture, and that was it. It went how it went. But this time it feels real, it feels proper camp.
One thing about Josh, he didn't make an excuse after the fight. A bit like in a way Anthony Joshua. He lost Anthony Ruiz, he licked his wounds and he came back and he did the business and got his redemption in that rematch. Not to move on too much far from Josh, but his stablemate Maxi Hughes. I mean, what a story this is. 12 months, 18 months ago, he was written off, brought in as an opponent for John O'Carroll to keep him busy, and he's completely flipped his career in the right direction, and he's now fighting for an IBO world title, which will unlock so many doors for him. Talk to me about this kid and this story.
Well, just before we go on to Maxi Hughes, we're looking at Kanzo. That wasn't the Kanzo we know. Looking at Lee Wood there. With these, not Lee Wood, sorry, looking at, what's his name, James Tennyson. That's not the James Tennyson that we know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, not the same fighter that I'd seen either. Yeah.
Not the same fighter. Josh, my own lad, not the fighter that we know. So this happened to a lot of fighters, Dillian White. Again, not the fighter that we knew. And I think every one of them could be guilty of maybe overlooking an opponent or doing things wrong way for whatever reason. Whether it's COVID, whether it's lockdowns, whether they're just grinding through it. Because at times it felt to us like we're just get through this. Not really focus 100% on it. There'll be people listening to this and say, a proper trainer. We've heard all that shit before. We've heard it all before, all that. But they won't be honest, you know what I mean? So people that were critical of me need to be looking closer to home. But we'll get on to that later. Anyway, Maxi Hughes. Well,
this is huge.
This is huge. Maxi Hughes has done what Mauricio Lara did to us. John O'Carroll, Maxi Hughes was his warm-up fight. Not too bad an opponent, not, there to put a fight up. And he's turning good fighters over. We went to Dubai in lockdown and he beat Victor Kotochigov. Might not have had a lot of pro fights, but certainly a well-seasoned top-class amateur. And then after that, Paul Ireland beat him for British, stopped him. It's something to be proud of, his Maxi Hughes. Now, what's happening with his opponent this time, Giovanni Straffon, and this has come from there. They don't like Maxi's style. They're not really, in fact, to fighting him, but they've just said, but we expect to stop him in late rounds. Could be a different story Saturday night, because Maxi Hughes that I know is just a different fighter. Different fighter that fought Carroll, different fighter that fought Kotochigov, and certainly a different fighter that won that British title. So he'll know come Saturday night he's in a very, very real fight. So we'll see.
this is what sort of boxing's about. We get the glitz and the glam of the, your Canelos, your pound for pound. But when you look at someone, and it's well documented, and he spoke to me about it, he was on the verge of packing it in. I know he's a painter and decorator by trade, but he said, I was falling out with it completely. But then he came to your gym, and things had changed for him. He'd found that love for it back, and this camp as well, he's put a full camp in, put his actual job to one side, and now he's an actual, it sounds a professional boxer for the full camp.
A full camp, he's been doing it on a shoestring and kind of bit partners, Maxi, but this time, his sponsors have come forward. Yeah. He's had 6 weeks off work, and we've got somebody there from DNEL events worth having a look at. They've backed his wages up so that he could have the 6 weeks off. There's his own company that he works for, McGill's, painters, decorators. They've given him the 6 weeks off. And then we've had a new sponsor jump on board from Sunbelt Spas, Sean Spivey, based in Scarborough. All these combined have enabled Maxi to do a full proper camp. And let me tell you, I've just been looking at some photos he did yesterday, and he just looks a different fighter. Just looks a different man altogether.
Through how happy he is, he's
He's in a good place, but more importantly, he's found a little spiteful streak.
Yeah.
I think that's what he was lacking, He's just found that little bit of a spiteful streak, and him and Josh have kind of bounced off each other during this camp. They've been good for each other, so I'm looking for a 2-0 on Saturday night, pal. I don't like bad nights at work. I'm confident as well, confident of a 2-0.
Yeah, that sort of brought me on to my next question. Are we 100% confident both you boys get the victory? Josh, is he going to... well, we can't really go into that because I can't go give you game plan and all that stuff away because it's a stupid question. But you're expecting 2 fights, 2 wins on Saturday night.
I can't have out less. For one, my missus is wanting a new stair carpet and decorating all through the house. Right, you can't do that on gyros. Right. This time I've pushed the button. I'll tell you how confident I am.
Camper van?
I've been and bought one, and now I've got to put that money back.
You've put all your eggs in one basket?
I've been and bought one, it's paid for. I'm just waiting for registration coming. So that's how confident I am. Last time I put a deposit down, I had to ring up and ask for it back. This time, not only have I got our Johnny there, right, that's looking that good, I've been and bought one. I've also got Maxi Hughes as my insurance.
Beautiful. A little top up for you.
Little top up, that's what it is, yeah. And with a bit of luck, 2 good wins on Saturday night, and it'll be turkey at Christmas again.
Brilliant. Well, Sean, thanks for giving Behind the Gloves some of your time. Wish both your fighters the best, and fingers crossed we'll catch up with them more through fight week. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Saturday night.
Anytime, pal, no worries. Nice. Cheers.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else